The Great Hall of Nexus Prime had never seen such a gathering. Representatives from over 200 alien species filled the massive chamber, their various forms creating a rainbow of colors and shapes. At the center of it all stood Ambassador So-Young Kim, her black hair tied back neatly as she addressed the Galactic Council. Earth's mining operations have increased food production by 30% across 12 worlds, So-Young said, her voice carrying clearly through the translation devices. Our medical teams have saved over 50,000 lives during the plague outbreak on Kepler 442b. The human delegation sat in their assigned section, proud of what their species had accomplished in 30 years of membership. Captain Hyun-Woo Park watched from the observation deck, his Earth Defense Fleet uniform crisp and clean. He remembered his father telling stories about first contact, about how the aliens had seemed like gods with their advanced technology. Now humans worked alongside these beings as equals. Or so they thought. Supreme Counselor Velthari of the Centaurian Empire rose from his crystal throne. The tall, blue-skinned being commanded respect wherever he went. His forearms moved gracefully as he spoke, and his voice carried the weight of centuries. The Council recognizes Ambassador Kim's report, Velthari said. However, we must address a more serious matter today. So-Young looked confused. This was not on the scheduled agenda. Around the chamber, other human representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Something felt wrong. For 30 years we have observed the human species, Velthari continued. We have watched them spread across the galaxy. We have seen their nature revealed through their actions. Captain Hyun-Woo leaned forward. The tone in the alien leader's voice was cold. Nothing like the warm greetings humans usually received at these meetings. The evidence is clear, Velthari announced. Humans are too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous to remain free in our galaxy. The chamber fell silent. So-Young's face went pale. I don't understand, Your Excellence. What evidence? What have we done wrong? Your species conquered every other life form on your planet before reaching space, replied Council Member Zethera of the Crystal Collective, her voice like breaking glass. You have weapons that can destroy entire worlds. Your military grows stronger each year. But we've never used those weapons against Council members, So-Young protested. We've only defended ourselves and our allies. We've fought alongside you against pirates and raiders. Your expansion is too rapid, added Speaker Mordun of the Ethereal Union, his ghostly form flickering. 17 new colonies in the past 5 years. You breed too quickly. You consume too many resources. Admiral Taemin Lee sat in his command chair aboard the flagship New Sol, monitoring the council session through quantum communication. His weathered face showed years of fighting to protect human settlements and alien worlds alike. He had lost good people defending council territory from hostile forces. We followed every law, every regulation, So-Young said, her voice rising with desperation. We've shared our technology. We've saved your people. That was a test, Velthari replied coldly, to see how you would behave when given freedom. The results show that humans cannot be trusted with unlimited growth. Around the chamber, alien representatives began standing one by one, the aquatic dominion, with their fish-like heads bobbing in agreement. The insectoid hive clicking their approval, the plant collective rustling their leaves in unison. This is insane, So-Young whispered, but her microphone carried the words throughout the hall. The Galactic Council has voted, Velthari announced. Humanity will be contained to their original solar system. All human colonies will be evacuated. All humans living on alien worlds will be relocated to Earth. This is for the good of galactic peace. Admiral Taemin stood up so quickly his chair spun backward. Around him, his bridge crew stared in shock at the displays showing the council vote. Species after species that humans had considered friends were voting to cage them like dangerous animals. Sir, Captain Mi-Ran Yu of Intelligence reported from her station. I'm detecting massive fleet movements. Council ships are mobilizing from staging areas throughout the galaxy. On Nexus Prime, So-Young tried one last time. Please, you know us. We're not your enemies. We've bled and died fighting beside you. That fighting spirit is exactly why you're dangerous, Velthari said. You enjoy war too much. You're too good at it. We fight to protect the innocent, So-Young shouted. You fight because it's your nature, the Supreme Counselor replied, and that nature threatens everything we've built. The vote was final. Over 90% of the Council species agreed. Humanity would be caged, Admiral Taman activated his personal communicator. All fleet commanders, this is Admiral Lee. Prepare for emergency protocols. We may be going to war. On the observation deck, Captain Hyunwoo felt his hands forming fists. He thought about all the aliens he had saved, all the friendships he thought he had made. He remembered drinking with Centaurian officers after successful missions, sharing stories and laughter, all lies, all manipulation. Ambassador Kim, Belthari continued, you and your delegation will be transported to the nearest human colony. From there, you will help organize the evacuation of your species. And if we refuse? So Young asked quietly. Then you will be moved by force, the Supreme Counselor replied. The combined fleets of the Council are already moving toward human space. You have 72 hours to begin compliance. The human delegation was escorted from the chamber by armed guards. As they left, So Young heard the aliens beginning to discuss how to divide up former human colonies among themselves. Admiral Tae Min received her final transmission an hour later. They're coming, Admiral. Everything we built, everything we worked for. They want to take it all away. The Admiral looked out at the stars, at the vast galaxy humans had hoped to explore and protect. Now those same stars belong to enemies. Not if we have anything to say about it, he whispered. Back on Earth, emergency sessions were beginning. President Ji-won Choi was being briefed on the situation. General Dong-hyun Kang was mobilizing every military unit they had, and in secret facilities hidden throughout human space, Dr. Yoon-ji Song was activating projects that the aliens knew nothing about. Projects that had been developed quietly, carefully, just in case this day ever came. The aliens thought they knew humanity from 30 years of peace and cooperation. They thought humans would surrender quietly, accept their fate like good little prisoners. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. President Ji-won Choi sat at the head of the emergency conference table, her face grim as reports poured in from across human space. The betrayal at Nexus Prime had sent shockwaves through every human colony and military installation. How many ships are they bringing? She asked. General Dong-hyun Kang pulled up holographic displays showing alien fleet movements. Over 10,000 vessels from what we can detect. Dreadnoughts, battle cruisers, carrier groups from 50 different species. They're not taking any chances. They outnumber us 50-1, Admiral Taemin Lee reported via quantum link from his flagship. Their combined firepower could glass every human world twice over. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the math. Humanity had perhaps 300 combat-ready ships scattered across dozens of systems. Even if they could gather them all in one place, they would be overwhelmed in minutes. There's something else, Captain Miran Yu said from her intelligence station. They're broadcasting propaganda to their own people, telling them humans are savage beasts who need to be caged for everyone's safety. Dr. Yoon-ji Song, Director of Human Military Research, had been quiet until now. She stood up and activated a new set of displays. They think they know us. For 30 years, we've been the model members of their council, peaceful, cooperative, eager to please. That's who we are, President Ji-won said. That's who we chose to be, Dr. Yoon-ji corrected. There's a difference. She showed images of hidden facilities on dozens of worlds, research stations that the council thought were studying alien agriculture or geology, manufacturing plants they believed were making farming equipment or civilian goods. Operation Prometheus has been running for 25 years, Dr. Yoon-ji explained. We've been reverse engineering every piece of alien technology we could get our hands on, improving it, making it better. Commander Young Soo-han of Special Operations added his own presentation. Project Damocles created weapons the Council has never seen, stealth systems that can hide entire fleets, soldiers enhanced with alien biotechnology. You've been planning for war this whole time? President Ji-won asked, surprised. We've been planning for survival, General Dong-hyun replied. Remember, we conquered our own world before we ever left it. Every species on Earth learned to fear humans for good reason. Dr. Kyung-ho Lim, their chief xenobiologist, stood next. I've studied every council species for decades. Lived with them, worked with them, learned their weaknesses. They've grown soft. Most haven't fought a real war in centuries. The Centaurians haven't seen combat in over 200 years, Captain Miran reported. Their military is more for show than fighting. Same with most council species. But they still have superior numbers and technology, President Ji-won pointed out. Do they? Dr. Yoon-ji asked. She showed new images of human weapon systems. Our railguns fire projectiles at 98% light speed. Their energy shields can't stop solid matter moving that fast. Our stealth ships use quantum manipulation to bend light around them, Commander Young-Soo added. Their sensors literally cannot see us coming. Admiral Taemin's voice came through the speakers. What about biological warfare? Dr. Yunji smiled coldly. We've had samples of alien DNA for 30 years. Custom viruses that target specific genetic markers. Diseases that affect only non-human nervous systems. The president looked around the room at her advisors. These were good people, scientists and soldiers who had devoted their lives to peace and cooperation. Now they were calmly discussing ways to commit genocide against former allies. Are we really going to do this? She asked quietly. They forced our hand, General Dong-hyun said. We offered friendship. They chose to see it as weakness. The evacuation fleets are already leaving Council space, Admiral Taemin reported. They're taking humans from their homes at gunpoint. Families torn apart, children crying for parents left behind. Captain Hyunwoo's voice joined the conversation from his destroyer. I just received word from the Kepler colony. Council forces opened fire on civilian transports trying to take personal belongings. 17 dead, including children. The room erupted in angry voices. President Ji-won held up her hand for silence. They're not just imprisoning us, she said. They're destroying everything we built. Everything we are. Dr. Yunji activated another display. Our psychological warfare division has been studying alien cultures. Most Council species have never faced an enemy that fights back effectively. They expect quick surrender. The Ethereal Union hasn't had a military casualty in 400 years, Dr. Kyung-ho added. Their society doesn't even have concepts for dealing with mass death. What about their leadership? President Ji-won asked. Captain Miran smiled grimly. Velthari commands from the super dreadnought Galactic Harmony. He's never been in actual combat. None of their senior commanders have. Commander Young-Soo brought up tactical displays. Our commando teams have been training for ship-to-ship combat for decades. Close quarters fighting in zero gravity. Alien species never developed those skills. Most of them can't even function properly in variable gravity, Dr. Kyung-ho noted. Humans adapt to any environment. They need specific conditions to operate effectively. Admiral Taemin's image appeared on the main screen. His face showed the determination that had made him humanity's greatest military leader. President Choi, I need authorization to activate the Omega protocols. Everyone in the room knew what that meant. Hidden weapons platforms throughout human space would come online. Sleeper agents embedded in alien governments would activate. The peaceful facade humanity had maintained for 30 years would disappear forever. Once we do this, there's no going back, the president said. There's already no going back, General Dong-hyun replied. They made that choice for us. President Ji-won looked at each person around the table. Scientists who had spent their careers helping alien species, soldiers who had bled defending Council worlds, diplomats who had worked tirelessly for peace. Now they were all united in preparation for the most savage war the galaxy had ever seen. The Council thinks we're primitive because we came from a single world, she said finally. They don't understand that surviving on Earth required becoming the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Every other race they've met evolved as prey animals or peaceful herbivores, Dr. Kyung-ho added. Humans are the only species that evolved as persistence hunters. We're literally designed to kill things that are bigger and stronger than us. And we're very good at it, Commander Young-Soo said quietly. President Ji-won stood up. Admiral Lee, you have authorization for all Omega protocols. Show the Council what happens when you corner Earth's children. Understood, Madam President, Admiral Taemin replied. Time to remind the galaxy why humans rule their homeworld. The meeting broke up as each person rushed to their duties. In 72 hours, the Council fleet would reach human space expecting easy victory. Instead, they would face the awakened fury of humanity's true nature. The edge of human space had never seen such a massive fleet. Over 10,000 alien vessels hung in the darkness between stars, their combined bulk blocking out entire constellations. Dreadnoughts the size of cities drifted alongside carrier groups that could house millions of fighters. Admiral Taemin Lee stood on the bridge of his flagship New Seoul, watching the enemy formation through tactical displays. Around him, his crew worked quietly at their stations. Each person knew this might be their last day alive. Final count, Captain? The Admiral asked. Captain Hyunwoo's voice came through the communication system from his destroyer Incheon's Pride. 11,437 confirmed enemy vessels. 63 different species represented. The numbers were overwhelming. The human fleet consisted of 300 ships spread across a dozen systems. Many were older vessels, originally designed for exploration and colony defense rather than warfare. Admiral, Lieutenant H. Shin reported from the Mars orbital defense stations. The enemy is broadcasting their ultimatum. The main screen activated, showing Supreme Counselor Velthari standing on the bridge of his super dreadnought Galactic Harmony. The massive vessel was 5 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that could destroy planets. Humans of the Sol system, Velthari announced, his forearms spread wide. You have defied the will of the Galactic Council. Your time of freedom is over. Admiral Taman listened to the alien leader's words without expression. Around him, his officers showed barely controlled anger. Surrender immediately and we will be merciful, the Supreme Counselor continued. Resist and we will use overwhelming force to break your spirit. You cannot win this fight. The transmission ended. The alien fleet began moving forward, their formation perfect and disciplined. They advanced slowly, confident in their victory. All human ships, this is Admiral Lee, Taman spoke into his communicator. Prepare for combat operations. Throughout human space, vessels that had been hiding in asteroid fields and behind moons began powering their weapons. Captain Sung Min Oh's stealth squadron materialized from quantum shadows. Commander Byung-ho No's fighter wings launched from hidden bases on dead worlds. On Earth, President Ji-won Choi watched the tactical displays with her senior staff. General Dong-hyun Kang stood beside her, his face grim but determined. The moment of truth, the general said quietly. Dr. Yoon-ji Song was coordinating from her research facility. All Omega weapons are online, Admiral. Biological warfare packages are ready for deployment. Captain Miran Yu reported from her intelligence station. Sleeper agents are in position throughout the enemy fleet. Sabotage operations can begin on your command. The alien fleet continued its advance. Their massive ships moved like a wall of death, confident that sheer numbers would overwhelm any resistance. They had fought against pirates and raiders before, enemies who broke and ran when faced with superior firepower. They had never fought humans. Admiral Taman opened a channel to every human ship, station, and settlement in the galaxy. His words would be recorded and remembered for generations. People of Earth and her colonies, he began, his voice calm and steady. Today we face the greatest challenge in human history. The aliens we called friends have chosen to become our enemies. Captain Hyun-woo gripped his command chair as he listened. Around him, his crew prepared their weapons with practiced efficiency. They think they know us from 30 years of peace, the Admiral continued. They think we'll surrender quietly, accept imprisonment like good little pets. On the orbital defense platforms around Mars, Lieutenant Colonel Cha Shin and her gunners waited for the order to fire. Their railgun batteries had been disguised as mining equipment for decades. They're wrong, Admiral Taman said, his voice growing stronger. They've never seen what we really are. They've never faced the species that conquered Earth before reaching for the stars. Dr. Kyung-ho Lim worked at his laboratory, finalizing the biological weapons that would target alien immune systems, viruses designed to cause maximum suffering while leaving humans untouched. We didn't choose this war, the Admiral declared, but we'll finish it. Today the galaxy learns why every predator on Earth fears the human race. Commander Young Soo-han and his Special Forces teams prepared to board enemy vessels. They had trained for decades in zero-gravity combat, in fighting through alien ship designs, in killing efficiently in confined spaces. They want to cage us because we're dangerous, Admiral Taman continued. They're right. We are dangerous. We're the most dangerous thing this galaxy has ever seen. The alien fleet was now within weapons range. Their forward elements began charging their energy weapons, preparing to demonstrate their technological superiority. Our ancestors survived ice ages that killed everything else, the Admiral said. They hunted creatures 10 times their size with nothing but stone tools and cunning. They looked at a hostile universe and decided to make it their home. Captain Sung-min Oh's stealth ships moved into position, invisible to alien sensors. His crews were descendants of soldiers who had fought in every human war, who had learned that victory belonged to those willing to sacrifice everything. Today we show the Council what happens when you threaten Earth's children, Admiral Taman declared. We show them why we rule our world. We show them why we deserve the stars. The alien fleet opened fire first, massive energy beams lancing out toward human positions. Their weapons lit up space like a new sun, confident that nothing could survive such devastating firepower. That was when Admiral Tamin gave the command that changed galactic history forever. "All ships, all stations, all forces," he said, his voice carrying across every human communication channel. "Show them why we conquered our homeworld's apex predators, survived ice ages, and reached for the stars despite every obstacle the universe threw at us." Lieutenant Colonel HFY's railgun batteries opened fire, sending projectiles at near light speed through the alien formation. The lead dreadnought Pride of Velthari was split in half before its shields could activate. "Today, we remind the galaxy that humanity doesn't yield, we overcome," the Admiral continued as explosions bloomed throughout the enemy fleet. Captain Miran's sleeper agents activated sabotage devices throughout the alien armada. Ships lost power, life support failed, weapon systems exploded from within. "All ships, weapons free," Admiral Tamin commanded. And then came the words that would be remembered forever. "Give them hell." Space around the Sol system became a hellscape of fire and death. The alien fleet, so confident moments before, reeled under attacks unlike anything they had ever faced. Human weapons struck from impossible angles, using tactics that defied every military doctrine the Council had ever developed. Captain Hyunwoo's destroyer Inchin's Pride screamed through the enemy formation at maximum velocity. His crew had already evacuated to escape pods, leaving only him and his navigation officer to carry out their mission. "Target locked," Navigation Officer Jin A. Park reported, her voice steady despite knowing they had seconds to live. "For Earth's children," Hyunwoo whispered, then slammed his ship into the Centaurian battlecruiser Righteous Victory. The impact at near-light speed vaporized both vessels instantly. The explosion tore through 3 more alien ships nearby, their shields useless against the sheer kinetic energy of the collision. Throughout the alien fleet, Council commanders watched in horror as humans did the impossible. They sacrificed themselves willingly, turning their own ships into weapons of mass destruction. "This is madness," Commander Zethkol of the Crystal Collective broadcast to his fleet. "They're destroying themselves." But the human attacks continued. Pilot Dongjun Cho flew his fighter directly into the bridge of the ethereal Union flagship Peaceful Harmony. His final transmission was simple: "Tell my daughter I love her." Admiral Tamin watched the tactical displays from his flagship as human forces engaged the enemy with a ferocity that shocked even him. This was not the humanity that had spent 30 years being peaceful council members. This was the species that had climbed to the top of Earth's food chain. "Commander Young-Soo, report," the Admiral requested. Commander Young-Soo Han's voice came through the communication system from inside an alien dreadnought. "Boarding operation successful, sir. We've taken control of 17 enemy vessels so far. The human special forces had materialized inside alien ships using experimental teleportation technology. The Council species had never faced enemies who could appear anywhere, anytime, ready to kill. Their security systems are pathetic." Young-Soo continued as the sound of gunfire echoed behind his words. "Most of their crew members have never even seen combat. On the Aquatic Dominion command ship, fish-like aliens fled in panic as human soldiers fought through their corridors. The aliens had never developed close-quarters combat techniques, never learned to fight in the confined spaces of their own vessels. Captain Sung-Min Oh led his stealth squadron in hit-and-run attacks throughout the enemy formation. His ships would appear from quantum shadows, unleash devastating firepower, then vanish before the aliens could respond. "This is impossible," Supreme Counselor Velthari raged from his super dreadnought. "Our sensors show nothing, then suddenly we're under attack." His science officer, a trembling insectoid, tried to explain. "Sir, the humans are using technology we don't understand. They're bending space-time itself to hide their movements." Dr. Yoon Ji-song's Biological Warfare Division unleashed their most terrible weapons. Viruses specifically designed to target alien immune systems spread through the enemy fleet via air recycling systems. Within hours, entire alien crews were debilitated by engineered plagues that left them helpless. Human boarding parties found ships full of sick, dying enemies who could barely raise their weapons. "The Ethereal Union's Third Fleet is requesting immediate medical assistance," reported Captain Miran Yu from her intelligence station. "Casualty rates approaching 70%. But the aliens had never seen psychological warfare like what Colonel Jae-sung Bae unleashed upon them. Human broadcasts flooded Council communication channels with recordings of their defeats, their casualties, their dying comrades screaming in alien languages. "Surrender now and we might show mercy," Jae-sung's voice echoed through enemy ships. "Continue fighting and we'll show you what humans do to those who threaten our families." The Plant Collective, a species that had never known individual fear, began to break ranks as human fighters swarmed through their formations like angry hornets. Their slow, methodical thinking could not adapt to the rapid, chaotic nature of human combat. Lieutenant Colonel A. Cha-shin's orbital defense platforms around Mars had become the anchor of human resistance. Her railgun batteries fired continuously, sending projectiles through alien formations at speeds that made defense impossible. "Target the command ships first," she ordered her gunners. "Cut off their heads and the body dies." Her weapons found their marks with terrifying accuracy. Council admirals died in their command centers, never understanding how primitive humans could strike with such precision across such vast distances. Captain Byung-ho No's fighter wings dominated space around Jupiter, their small size and incredible maneuverability making them nearly impossible to hit. Alien point defense systems designed to stop large missiles couldn't track the tiny human craft. "They fight like insects," he reported to Admiral Taman, "swarming, stinging, then disappearing before we can be swatted." The comparison was more accurate than he knew. Humans fought like the persistence hunters they had always been, wearing down larger, stronger prey through endless harassment and strategic strikes. Dr. Kyung-ho Lim watched the biological warfare reports with grim satisfaction. The Centaurian Empire's immune systems are collapsing faster than predicted. Their medical technology can't adapt to our engineered viruses. Alien species that had never faced disease warfare found themselves helpless against human biotechnology. Their advanced medicine could cure known ailments, but not custom-designed, plagues that attacked their specific genetic weaknesses. The turning point came when Admiral Taman himself led a suicide squadron directly at Supreme Councilor Velthari's super dreadnought Galactic Harmony. The massive vessel was the symbol of council power, supposedly invincible. "All ships, follow me in," the Admiral commanded. "Today we prove that no enemy is too big to fall." 12 human destroyers, each carrying experimental antimatter warheads, accelerated toward the alien flagship. The Council's most powerful ship concentrated all its firepower on the approaching threat. 11 human ships died in balls of superheated plasma. But Admiral Taman's flagship New Sol broke through, its hull glowing white-hot from enemy fire. "Tell Earth we never surrendered," he transmitted, then detonated his antimatter payload inside the Galactic Harmony's reactor core. The explosion was visible from Mars. The Council's greatest warship, their symbol of invincibility, became an expanding cloud of debris and radiation. Supreme Councilor Velthari died never understanding how the primitive humans had outfought his advanced civilization. Admiral Soo-jin Park, Taman's second-in-command, took control of the human fleet as the remaining alien forces fled in panic. "All Council ships, this is the new commander of human forces," she broadcast. "You came here to cage us. Instead, you've awakened something that should have stayed sleeping." The galaxy watched in terror as their supposedly inferior former allies proved to be the most dangerous predators space had ever seen. The war was far from over, but the galaxy had learned a terrible lesson. Never back a human into a corner unless you're prepared for the consequences. 6 months after the battle at Sol, the galaxy had changed forever. The Galactic Council was in ruins, their member species fleeing to remote corners of space to escape human retribution. What had begun as an attempt to cage humanity had become the complete destruction of galactic civilization as they knew it. Admiral Soo-jin Park stood on the bridge of humanity's new flagship, Never Again, a massive vessel built from salvaged alien technology and human innovation. Through the viewports she could see the shattered remains of Nexus Prime, the former council capital now a graveyard of broken ships and dead dreams. "Final casualty report, Captain?" she asked. Captain In-ho Lee, the new head of human intelligence, consulted his datapad. Council losses: 8,400 ships destroyed, 3 million military personnel dead, 12 homeworlds under human occupation. The numbers were staggering. In 6 months of warfare, Humanity had systematically dismantled the greatest military alliance in galactic history. Species that had ruled space for millennia now begged for mercy from the primitive humans they had tried to imprison. Human losses? Admiral Sujin asked quietly. 230 ships lost, 47,000 personnel killed in action, Captain Inho replied, including Admiral Taemin Lee, Captain Hyunwoo Park, and 300 other heroes who gave their lives for freedom. The Admiral nodded solemnly. Every human death had been mourned, every sacrifice remembered. But the mathematics of war were undeniable. Humanity had achieved something no military theorist thought possible. They had won against impossible odds. President Ji-won, Choi's image appeared on the main communication screen, broadcasting from Earth to address the remnants of the Galactic Council. Behind her stood the new human leadership, General Dong-hyun Kang, now Supreme Military Commander, Dr. Yoonji Song, Director of Xenological Affairs, and dozens of other leaders who had guided humanity through its darkest hour. Former members of the Galactic Council, President Ji-won began, her voice carrying to every alien homeworld still capable of receiving transmissions. 6 months ago, you declared war on humanity. You said we were too dangerous to remain free. The camera showed images of destroyed council fleets, of alien worlds under human occupation, of once proud species reduced to refugees in their own space. You were right, the president continued. We are dangerous. But you misunderstood what made us dangerous. Dr. Yoonji Song stepped forward. You thought our weapons made us dangerous. Our ships, our technology. You were wrong, General Dong-hyun added his voice. What makes us dangerous is what we do when someone threatens our families. Our willingness to sacrifice everything rather than accept defeat. The broadcast showed footage from the war, human pilots flying suicide missions, soldiers fighting to the death aboard alien vessels, civilians volunteering for dangerous missions to support the war effort. You thought we were aggressive because we conquered our homeworld, President Ji-won said, but every species conquers their world. The difference is what they do next. Captain Sungmin-oh appeared on screen from his new command, the super dreadnought Terra's Vengeance. The massive vessel, built from captured alien technology, now patrolled former council space. Most species become comfortable after conquest, he explained. They grow soft, rely on technology instead of skill. Humans never stopped fighting. The president gestured to historical images of human development. We fought ice ages that killed everything else. We battled diseases that should have destroyed us. We turned a hostile world into our garden through pure determination. Dr. Kyung-ho Lim joined the broadcast from his new laboratory on captured Centaurian Prime. Every council species evolved as prey animals or peaceful herbivores. You never developed the instincts necessary for true warfare. Humans are persistence hunters, General Dong-hyun explained. We chase our prey until it collapses from exhaustion. We never give up, never stop, never accept defeat. The alien leaders watching the broadcast understood now too late. They had tried to cage the apex predator of Earth, the species that had earned its position through millions of years of successful hunting. The Galactic Council is dissolved, President Ji-won announced. In its place, we establish the Terran Federation. Any species that chooses cooperation over domination is welcome to join. Captain Mi-ran Yu, now director of the new intelligence service, explained the terms. Equal partnership. No species rules over another. No imprisonment of entire civilizations for the convenience of others. But understand this, Admiral Sujin added, her voice carrying the weight of recent victory. Humanity will never again be subject to another species' authority. We offered our hand in friendship once. When you forced it into a fist, you learned why we rule our world. The broadcast showed the new human fleet patrolling galactic space. Hundreds of vessels built with alien technology, but improved by human engineering. Ships crewed by the most dangerous warriors the galaxy had ever seen. To those species who voted for our imprisonment, President Ji-won continued, you are not welcome in the Terran Federation. You may keep your homeworlds, but you will never again threaten human freedom. Commander Young Soo-han appeared from his new position as head of Terran Special Forces. We have agents on every council world. We know your locations, your capabilities, your weaknesses. Try to rebuild your alliance and we will end you. The threat was not empty. Human technology had advanced beyond anything the Council possessed. Stealth ships that could appear anywhere. Biological weapons that could target specific species. Soldiers enhanced with alien biotechnology who could fight in any environment. To the innocent species who were forced to vote against us, the president said, her tone softening slightly, we offer redemption. Join the Terran Federation. Help us build something better than what came before. Several alien leaders had already accepted this offer. The peaceful Republic of Kepler 442b, whose population humans had saved from plague years earlier. The mining collective of the Outer Rim, who had always respected human engineering skills. The galaxy tried to cage us once, Admiral Su-Jin said, returning to the broadcast. The survivors will ensure it never happens again. Captain Sung Min-oh spoke from his command deck, surrounded by weapons that could destroy worlds. My ship's mission statement is inscribed on every human vessel in the fleet. We offered our hand in friendship. When you forced our hand into a fist, you learned why we rule our world. The broadcast showed images of human colonies being rebuilt, stronger than before. Children playing in parks protected by orbital defense platforms. Families reunited after the forced evacuations. Humanity has proven something the galaxy forgot. Dr. Yoon Ji-song concluded. Technology without the will to use it is useless. Numbers without courage mean nothing. The stars belong to those bold enough to claim them. President Ji-won delivered the final words that would echo through galactic history. You thought you knew us from 30 years of peace. Now you'll remember us for 30 generations of strength. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy to contemplate their new reality. Humanity stood victorious, having transformed from prisoners to rulers in 6 months of devastating warfare. Admiral Su-Jin looked out at the stars through her ship's viewport. Somewhere out there, the remnants of the Council were learning to fear the dark, learning that the species they had tried to cage was now the apex predator of known space. Fleet Admiral, Captain In-ho reported, the new Terran colonies are requesting protection from Council raiders. Dispatch the Third Fleet, Admiral Su-Jin ordered. And remind any aliens who attack human civilians what happened to the last ones who tried. The galaxy had betrayed humanity once. The survivors would ensure it never happened again. The stars now belonged to Earth's children, and they would defend their inheritance with the same ferocity that had won it. The age of human dominance had begun.